My creativity was really encouraged from an early start. I grew up in an environment frequently surrounded by creatives. My father was a Harvard-educated architect, and my mother studied art history and anthropology. She served on the board of the Women's Art Society, she was a weaver, and she was very engaged in the local arts community. My parents regularly invited architects, starving artists, designers, and other artsy types to our dinner table. We had architectural exchange students living with us at different times for a year on end. And when I was quite young, I attended Saturday morning art classes at the Edmonton Art Gallery for several years. Every summer of my childhood, my family and I would spend the entire 2 months out at our lake cottage. Here, we always had some creative project on the go to keep us entertained. There were many summer days spent around the picnic table, children and adults alike, pinching pots from clay to painting paper mache objects. I would be sewing stylish doll clothes or producing strings of beaded necklaces for the very free spirits who embrace the current style of the 70s, my parents included. I'm sure I made a necklace for everyone along the beach several years in a row. From these experiences, as well as umpteen hours visiting my father's design practice over the years, I initially chose to pursue a career in interior design. Since University of Alberta, which was my local university, did not offer this, I made the decision to complete the first year of a Bachelor of Fine Arts there before heading abroad to study interior design elsewhere. At the time, the Fine Arts department there was very known for its formalism. I enrolled in some painting classes, and I discovered another medium that really appealed to my senses and my sense of creativity. I could explore color to its fullest. I had the ability to create texture, vary viscosity and translucency, experiment with an endless array of tools, techniques, and mixed media. There was a wonderful flexibility in the medium that was just very exciting to me. Creative people are frequently asked where their inspiration comes from. As a non-representational artist, the answer to this question is of particular curiosity to many. Over my career, I've drawn inspiration from a broad range of sources: other artists and their art, travel, music, textiles, modern architecture, the environment, and so on. Earlier in my development, British artist David Hockney and Australian artist Ken Doane were two of my favorite painters for their wonderful use of color. Over the years, I was also very inspired by Mark Rothko, more recently Yayoi Kusama, whose show I saw in Toronto some time ago, Jules Olitsky, who I had studied, an instructor of mine, Scott Player, and a friend, Douglas Haynes. There's just many other different artists who have inspired me, as well as many other sources. I've found motivation from the bold colors and graphic designs of Marimekko textiles and the beautiful textiles of Trisha Guild and Designers Guild in the UK. I have always loved Portuguese and Italian tiles, Thai silk, Bali prints, the silk and the spice colors coming from Rajasthan, Mexican colors and architecture, California, Palm Desert's one of my favorite places, the floral, the fauna of the tropics, the desert, the coastal regions and landscapes, beautifully presented and colorful food, pottery, again, textiles and fashion and graffiti, New York, of course. I mean, there's just so many places for me that have affected my inspiration. My world travels, my life experiences provided an endless stream of inspiration that has propelled me in starting new work. I couldn't narrow it down more than that. It's just way too broad, and it's just so exciting. The stimulus from this flows into two facets of how I create. One is that it feeds my imagination for the physical properties of an art project. That is a pairing of color, as I've mentioned, suggestion of scale, or an effect I want to achieve through the handling of the medium, for example. The second facet is the impetus that sparks my energy that I then pour into making art. And there's one more thing too. I also want to mention the importance to my life and to my creative output of music, because it is such a pleasurable and powerful source that feeds the soul. It has this amazing ability to transport one to another time or place, to recreate an experience, uplift and energize. Sometimes I incorporate what I feel into my strokes or my gestures in my mark making, and also my title. So I just, I'm sure that's a huge one for so many people that I have to mention that one. My primary format for my art is of abstract modernism, referred to as non-objective, and this style's appealed to me for years now because I continue to be most concerned with the formal aspects of art. That is color, texture, line, and composition. This approach, devoid of physical representation, leads me to create works of art that access my deepest creative energy. I can express my joy of color and hopefully exude to the viewer the passion and the playfulness I experience when I am completely absorbed in the process of creating. If the viewer shares in the pleasure and enjoys the energy, then it's a positive experience, and I do not worry about conveying a specific meaning to the audience beyond that. I'll leave that to the others. There is that familiar expression, when we are doing what we love, we lose all sense of time. When I am in the studio creating, I am very much engaged in the process. I am in the flow. For me, this means I am tapping into that pure creative energy from my higher consciousness and going with it, letting go of any preconceived expectation. And, I'll start, but then once I get going, I let go of how I want the outcome to be, and I try to just be one. You hear that a lot, but be one with painting and just have fun with it and let my intuitive sense come through. I am still amazed at how many hours whiz by, no pun intended, but before I realize what time it is, so many times I've gone right through dinner till 8:30 and not even hungry, and it felt like it was still 1 in the afternoon. It's just, it's crazy. I love it. I find it beneficial in my artistic practice, though, to step back once in a while and take a look at my work with an objective view. Not always easy, but, and sometimes this comes about because I come up, I either take a break or a long break if I've had a break from the studio and I come back to work and I'm not in the same place that I was when I was initially creating it. So sometimes then that's when I really have to step back with an objective view and decide, you know, how I'm going to resolve it, how I'm going to carry on. And yeah, when I have a challenge or dilemma, this is often how I resolve it. It's a balance between the conscious and subconscious, our reasoning and our intuitive minds. It's a shift I like to refer to as the ebb and flow between those two, of working from your subconscious and then with the consciousness at times, the awareness, and that objective view coming into play. Events around me locally or much broader, and whether they be social, political, environmental, etc., they do not directly influence my work in terms of content. However, my surroundings most definitely have a strong impact on my paintings. Where I feel this is especially true is how my environment influences my palette for a specific project, and probably my palette in general, but specifically I'll draw from different things. This certainly applies to my travels abroad, and when I am not away exploring some fabulous location and vacationing, I envision my time there from memory and draw from that the beautiful hues and colors that have had an impact on me. And that would be really where my surroundings affect my abstract work. Yeah. So I have recently come through a very, very long period of multiple life challenges and personal disruptions that have made it very difficult to create the scope of work I've wanted to. Although we are still in the midst of a COVID outbreak, and it's certainly a trying time for everyone and for so many people in so many ways, most of the artists I know are continuing to use the solitude for production. And I know I personally embrace it as a continued opportunity to work on a series that I've not quite finished. And it's just a period of less demands from the outside. The galleries, we're not really visiting galleries, things are shut down, there's less distraction, less socializing, etc. And so I'm seizing this opportunity to continue to really work in my studio, and I'm thankful for it. I also have a few projects to work on over the next 6 months or so that I've been wanting to do. One being a collaboration, so it's pending our ability to work together during the COVID period, but hopefully the opportunity will open up enough at least to be able to do that without necessarily having the extra demands that come with being fully back to normal, and I don't foresee that for a while. So that's okay for me, myself. I have worked solo in my studio for many years, and I enjoy it a great deal of the time, but there are times I miss the conversations, the interesting discussions, the critiques that fellow creatives bring to the table. I do feel extremely appreciative and grateful to be a part of a close and talented group of artists that share ideas and get together every week. We have had to move onto Zoom for Saturday morning coffee when we would normally be getting together in person, which isn't quite as good as it was when we were able to actually meet someplace. But we still have a lot of fun, and the connection is so important to each one of us. I am currently, as I mentioned, I'm currently collaborating with my daughter, actually, a graduate from OCAD University in Toronto. We have some time and opportunity to work together, and we're very excited to see where it takes us. She is a conceptual artist, and it will just be interesting to see what we decide to work on and where it takes us. So that will be fun to actually be in the studio together with someone, and someone very close to me. So I also have a website. I have an Instagram profile, wensel.com, an online presence with the site Artists in Canada. And I have one of my works currently online in an exhibition and member sale run by Harcourt House Artist Center. And this exhibition was just launched January 22nd and is showing online until early March. And it is a group exhibition and member sale through the gallery called Harcourt House. And the website is harcourthouse.ab.ca. That is HARCOURTHOUSE.AB.ca. And they actually have 3 shows together right now since they had to shut down last fall from different exhibits they were planning, and they put them together. So there's 3, you can check them out. The one my work is in is called Yielding to Form. And yeah, I hope you take time to pull it up online and, just give it a go. Yeah, thanks. In choosing my life as an artist, I've wandered off more than once. It hasn't been an easy path. I'm still working at it. It's hard work, but it's also play. And it continues to fascinate me, to energize me, and at times frustrate me. But creating is so rewarding. For me and for other artists, to be able to share our art, to inspire and be inspired, to invigorate others, to add beauty to our world, to make a statement, to send a powerful message, and bring attention to the disparity, destruction, climate, environment, any of those issues that one feels passionate about. Art can be whatever you want it to be. It's a very, very powerful tool. We are creative energy, and we can choose to direct this energy as a negative force that is destructive, or we can direct it as a positive force with our best intentions that encourage and inspires healing and well-being. And being an artist, it's my joie de vivre, and that's where I want to leave off. Thank you.